voted to power, what is that you plan to do this time around to convince the centre to, say, give full statehood to Delhi with law and order and land under your control?
Well, we've been fighting it for the last 15 years and before that, and there have been studies on the administrative setup of Delhi, whether it was the Balakrishnan report or the Ved Prakash report or last Mr. Moiri's report. They've all sided with us and understood the problems of having duplicity of authorities, rather multiplicity of authorities, and it makes the whole process very slow. And people's expectations are from us, and we are unable to fulfill them as fast as we should normally be able to do. And there are constraints also. You need a building for a school or a hospital or any other building, housing or anything. We have to go to the central government. So we are going to continue our call to bring about a unified command system in Delhi for governance.
Do you think multiplicity of authorities in Delhi is one of the biggest challenges the city is facing? And when you come to power, or if you come to power, rather I should rephrase my question, if you come to power, what would you do to ensure that Delhi gets full state status with land and law and order under its control?
You see, first of all, let me make it very clear that this has been our party's agenda right from the 60s. That Delhi should have full statehood with all the powers with the state government, and we have a better coordination amongst these various agencies that deliver various services to the people of Delhi. And there has been only one instance in last 50 years when we had Atalji's government in the country, and Advaniji had brought this full statehood for Delhi bill in the parliament. Unfortunately, the bill could not be cleared because before the term of his government expired, the bill had to be referred to a select committee headed by Mr. Pranab Mukherjee because of some concerns raised by various opposition parties, including the Congress. And that's how it could never see the light of the day as a passed bill from Parliament. The first thing that I would like to do when we come back to power is to start demanding about full statehood immediately. That's number one. And as soon as we have our government headed by Mr. Narendra Modi at the center, later after a couple of months, I will persuade him to get this done because it is definitely you see, creating a lot of problems in the city.
If you're voted to power, what will you do to ensure that multiple authorities are gone and there is just one authority in Delhi? Delhi get full statehood.
दिल्ली सरकार को फुल स्टेटहुड दिलवाने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे.
What will you do? What will you do to get full statehood for Delhi?
We will struggle with the central government for that.
What is your one big agenda for election? What is that one thing you plan to take forward in this election? Or if I was to ask you in other words, why should people vote for you if you tell them that?
Well, I can only say that the song that we brought out for this election says that Delhi's progress should not stop, and if you want Delhi to continue progressing, then vote the Congress.
What would you tell Delhiites? What would you tell them? Why should they vote for you? Or what is the one big agenda with which you are heading to these elections?
You see, there are two things I would say. Number one, they are witness to a government which has ruled for over 15 years now. And even after 15 years, we feel that the government has failed to deliver on virtually all the fronts. And we have a proven record of governance. Even when we were in Delhi, we started metro, we started all these flyovers, and we had a lot of things for which we got international international appreciation. Now, as far as our future is concerned, our vision is concerned, first thing that I would like to ensure and promise to the people of Delhi is a corruption-free, transparent government which will be people-friendly and where we will have the highest level of transparency as well as the highest level of e-governance and you can say e-procurement, everything.
What is the one big agenda with which you are going to polls? Why should people vote for you? One big agenda.
People are fed up of corrupt politicians and corrupt politics. BJP and Congress are both corrupt, and people this time want an honest party, and Aam Aadmi Party is the only honest party that they have faith in.
How would you view last 15 years of your rule? Any regrets or anything you think you could have done better, or some achievements which you think which you want to probably highlight in the upcoming elections? How would you view last 15 years of your rule of the Delhi?
Well, I think we were elected in the last 15 years 3 times over. So that is itself an indicator of the people's satisfaction. However, where we are concerned, as a party aspiring to get the governance of Delhi again, we have lots more to do, lots more to achieve. And we have done a lot, changed the face of Delhi. Everybody recognizes it, brought in new ideas like the metro. Now we plan to bring in the monorail and also trams wherever it is possible, so that Delhi becomes a better city to live in, more greenery, less pollution. Garbage is a huge problem. I'm giving you some very small points, but I think everything needs to be upgraded all the time. Today, if there are 50,000 children studying in Delhi in our universities, then we need to make it 75,000 or 1 lakh. So I think it's a constant going forward on the same path and also achieving new paths or looking for new paths.
Seeing this, sir, I think we know the answer to the next question. How do you see Sheila? How would you view Sheila Dikshit's 15 years of rule in the national capital? Because say whatever, there has been, development is what she mostly focuses on. But when you look back, how would you view Sheila's 15 years of rule in power in the national capital?
You see, I would summarize it in number 1. You see, the government has treated Delhi in a very casual manner. There has never been a meticulous and in-depth approach to the problems of the city. The government is now known for, I think, corruption and scams.
Describe Sheila Dikshit 15 years of rule.
भ्रष्टाचार, महंगाई.
If voted to power, what is this time what can people expect as far as rising prices of onions and rising electricity bills are concerned?
Onions is a temporary phase. Please remember that. They've already started coming down. And whenever onions or any other food item prices rise, the government of Delhi intervenes. We try and intervene to stabilize the prices. But since Delhi is not an agricultural city, we can only, through our intervention, see that the market becomes a little more level than it is. The spurts that come, they are softened. Where power is concerned, I don't know why people are doing this. You get 24 hours power. You don't get it in UP next door. You don't get it in Gurgaon. You don't get it anywhere. You are getting 24 hours power. It's the cheapest power in the country. And we give people who use up to 200 units a subsidy of 1 rupee 20 paisa per unit. We give people up to 400 units, 200 to 400 units, a subsidy of 80 paisa per unit. We have brought down our losses from 52% to 17%. I think it's been one of the most successful stories of power distribution, power production, and power availability in the country. Why are people talking about it? And this is only a ploy of the opposition. And if they say, they claim that they're going to bring down the power bills by 30%, all that I can say is, well, they will bring down your consumption, tell you please consume 30% less, and you'll get automatically your bills will come down.
Two big things which we've been seeing, which your party had actually been focusing on, were basically rising inflation, the rising prices of onion and tomato, and electricity bills. How much do you think that, how important will these issues be in the upcoming elections? And again, if you do come to power, then what do you plan? What is BJP's plan of action to sort of check this and check these problems?
these are certainly two very important issues, although there are number of other issues on which the people feel cheated by this government. When we talk of the number one issue, you said was this inflation. I think most of the time inflation, whether you talk of inflation in onion or whether you talk of 80 rupees kg tomatoes or whatever, mostly the cause is 99% of the times it is hoarding. And hoarding happens because there is an unholy alliance between the government system and the hoarders or the traders, whosoever are dealing with the system. And the government turns a blind eye to all this because there is this unholy connection. So what I would propose, and I have said it earlier also, that there has to be a food prices commission which should have no interference from either the politicians or the bureaucrats. Number one, most of it is happening because of the unholy alliance between the government and the power companies. The accounts of the power companies have not been audited since the time of the privatization was done, sometimes in the early, it was I think 2002 or so. So there has to be a compulsory CAG audit of all the accounts so that all those things that are shown and what is actually the position, it gets translated into a real benefit for the people. Then if the companies don't fall in line, we have to tell them straight away, not like the present government which has shed tears only for the private companies, never for the people. We would tell them that if they can't be people friendly, if they can't think about the people in an honest manner, the government has to think otherwise. The government has to introduce other companies for getting competition to get these prices down. Plus, as I said earlier, if the solar power issue is adequately taken care of, we can equip and strengthen every house with solar energy, which will, number one, be making them self-sufficient. They can even have access power which they can sell to the grid, or they can even have carbon credits for that. So it will be a, you can say, a comprehensive approach to see that the power bills of the people are actually reduced. And I'm sure that if we strengthen the solar system in a perfect manner and give subsidy from the Delhi government also, like is available from the central government, we can even reduce the prices of power even lower than 30%, which has been promised.
Corruption and inflation have been big issues. If you come to power, what will you do to ensure that these issues, these concerns are met?
Actually, many steps need to be taken, but we will pass Jan Lokpal bill on 29th December, and after that many more things need to be done to control inflation and price rise.
Do you think that this time you're facing one of your toughest elections, especially with the Aam Aadmi Party also in the fray this time around? Many opinion polls have projected a hung assembly. So just a second part of this question, that do you think the people of Delhi will give a clear mandate, or do you think it might be a hung assembly this time around?
Well, I think the people of Delhi will give a clear mandate because they are used to not a hodgepodge government. They are used to a good government. Whichever party they give a full mandate to, that will rule the party, and I hope it will be a fully mandated government which comes. Otherwise, this kind of a hung assembly will not be good for Delhi.
But how confident are you of our victory?
Well, we go to any election with great confidence. It's a tough election, like any election is tough. And your polls, I don't know what their basis for predictions are.
Criticism as expected, sir, but if I was to ask you a last question, how confident are you of a victory this time around? Do you think it's one of the toughest elections you are facing this year with the Aam Aadmi Party also in the fray this time?
I don't think so. The type of response that I am receiving from the people, it's just beyond my vocabularies to actually describe that, because you would say that I am exaggerating things. But if I am honest to you also, and whatever I am actually seeing, and if you believe, you have to actually see that, and then only you will believe. The response is tremendous. People want to get rid of this present government, which they feel has thoroughly cheated them. They are thoroughly disillusioned with this government.
And what do you think of
I am thoroughly confident that the people of Delhi, they are very wise people. They are very intelligent people. They have been they have been witness to so many elections. They know that if they have to get rid of the present corrupt regime of Congress, the only answer for them is BJP, and they would never like to waste their vote.
Do you think you can get a majority this time, or you think it will be a hung assembly? Because
We are getting 47 seats.